Every morning when you wake up, your body is breaking down its own muscle. It may sound strange, but it's a physiological fact. After a long night without food or movement, the body of a person over 60, especially those with a slower metabolism, enters a state called catabolism, or the breakdown process. And the first place to be affected? Your leg muscles. That's why many older adults wake up with legs that feel heavy as lead, stiff as wood, or even so numb they can't step out of bed. But this is not your destiny, and it is certainly not something you have to accept. I'm Dr. Christopher Wilson, representing Healthy Steps Seniors. In over 20 years of working with older adults, I have seen many who thought they had lost the strength in their legs find their steadiness again thanks to very small things, starting with breakfast. I remember a patient, once a strong construction engineer, who suddenly couldn't stand up from a chair on his own. And from that moment, his recovery journey began. Not with medication, not at a gym, but with simple things: an egg, a glass of warm water, and a small 30-second habit. Today, I want to share that entire guide, from breakfast to daily habits, to help you keep your legs strong, steady, and free to continue walking through your meaningful years. At 60, many people think that aching knees and needing to hold the handrail to climb stairs are normal. But as a rehabilitation specialist, I can assure you, legs don't weaken because of old age. They weaken because they are forgotten. I have met so many patients who came to me not because of leg pain, but because of a loss of confidence. I don't dare go to the market alone. I'm afraid to go down the stairs. I feel like I'm trapped in my own home. Among them, there was one man I will never forget. 69 years old, a former construction engineer. He told me that just stepping out of bed each morning felt like dragging 2 bags of cement. His calves would feel numb one moment and heavy as lead the next. At night, cramps felt like they were about to snap his muscles. His wife was the first to notice the change. He was slower, needing to use his hands to push himself up. Then, one autumn morning, he slipped in the bathroom. No broken bones, but what terrified him was the feeling of helplessness. "Doctor, my legs no longer feel like my own." And from that moment, he began to change. One of the most common misunderstandings among people over 60 is that weakening legs are inevitable. But in my clinical practice, I see clearly that leg muscle strength can be maintained and even restored if we understand how our bodies work and start with the smallest things. And the smallest but most important thing is breakfast. In older adults, especially after a long night without eating, the body shifts into what we call a catabolic state, meaning it starts to break down muscle tissue for energy. This happens naturally, but without timely nutritional intervention, the body will gradually lose muscle mass, especially in the lower limbs, the hardest area to maintain due to poorer circulation and less activation if you sit a lot. Therefore, the first meal of the day doesn't just fill your stomach, it's a signal to the body to stop breaking down and start rebuilding muscle. For breakfast, I always encourage eating whole eggs. This is one of the easiest foods to prepare, but has a high biological value, rich in leucine, an amino acid that kickstarts muscle protein synthesis. Additionally, eggs contain vitamin D, B12, and choline, micronutrients that support effective nerve transmission and muscle contraction. It's important to eat the whole leg, including the yolk, as that's where most of the nutrients are. 1 to 2 boiled or lightly fried eggs eaten within an hour of waking is an ideal choice to start the day on solid footing. After you have the building materials from protein, your body also needs a stable energy source to sustain you through the morning. I recommend lightly cooked oatmeal combined with chia seeds. Oatmeal provides beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber that helps regulate blood sugar, thereby preventing mid-morning energy crashes. Chia seeds, on the other hand, are a source of magnesium, potassium, calcium, and plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, which support muscle contraction, reduce the risk of cramps, and improve blood flow to the legs. For those who often experience morning cramps, bananas are an excellent supportive choice. This fruit is rich in potassium, an essential mineral for smooth nerve transmission and muscle contraction. However, I always advise patients not to eat bananas on an empty stomach, as it can cause digestive discomfort and reduce mineral absorption. It's best to eat a banana about 30 minutes after your main breakfast, as a light dessert. Another factor often overlooked by older adults is the digestive system. After 60, stomach acid levels decrease and bowel motility slows, making it harder for the body to absorb enough nutrients, especially protein, calcium, and magnesium. Therefore, I often recommend adding unsweetened Greek yogurt to breakfast. It's a source of probiotics that help balance the gut microbiome and also contains casein, a slow-digesting protein that nourishes muscles for hours. A study from Maastricht University found that older adults who consumed about 20 grams of casein in the morning showed significant improvements in leg muscle strength after just 6 weeks. If you often feel heaviness in your legs or mild aches and pains in your knees each morning, it could be a sign of low-grade inflammation in your muscle and joint tissues, a common issue in older adults. In that case, I often recommend consuming salmon about 2 to 3 times a week. Salmon contains omega-3s, a powerful natural anti-inflammatory, along with high-quality protein and B vitamins. Numerous studies, including one published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, indicate that regular consumption of fatty fish helps improve balance and significantly reduces the risk of falls in people over 60. Finally, a small trick that is very effective: steamed sweet potato sprinkled with a little Celtic sea salt. This is a gentle yet effective option for restoring energy in the early morning, especially for those on diuretic medication or at risk of an electrolyte imbalance. Sweet potatoes provide slow-release carbohydrates, helping to stabilize blood sugar, while Celtic sea salt supplements trace minerals like sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Many studies show that ensuring electrolyte balance through a mineral-rich diet can contribute to improved balance and a reduced risk of falls. No one needs to eat all of these at once, but if you can choose 2 or 3 that suit you and eat them regularly each morning, you will feel the difference in the very first steps you take each day. You see, breakfast can change the way you walk today, but eating right is not enough. In fact, many older adults eat very well, but are still prone to falls, still lose their balance, and still feel their legs are wobbly when they get out of bed. So in the next part, I will share with you 5 extremely simple morning habits that cost nothing and require no equipment, but have helped hundreds of my patients maintain their balance and prevent falls after just a few weeks. If you've ever felt anxious when walking down the stairs, don't miss what's next. You see, breakfast can change the way you walk today. But eating right is not enough. In fact, I have met many patients who eat a relatively balanced diet, get enough protein, but still easily lose their balance, often feel dizzy when they stand up, or feel their legs lack support. That's because there's another crucial part of caring for your legs that is often overlooked: gentle morning movements and warm-ups. What you do in the first 10 to 15 minutes after waking up can determine whether you start your day with stability or with a misstep. And the good news is, you don't need a gym, you don't need machines, just a few quiet moments and persistence. 1. Drink a glass of warm water with mineral salt. Flip the on switch for your body. Right after waking up, before eating or exercising, start with a glass of warm water, about 7 ounces or 200 milliliters, with a tiny pinch of natural sea salt. I often suggest Celtic or Himalayan pink salt. After a long night, an older adult's body is often in a state of mild dehydration and electrolyte imbalance, especially if you are taking diuretics or blood pressure medication. Supplementing with warm water and light minerals will help your muscles recharge, restore elasticity, and prevent morning cramps. Many patients tell me that this small change alone significantly reduces cramps and leg heaviness in the early morning. 2. The 30-second balance exercise. Train your sense of stability. One of the earliest signs of fall risk is a decline in the ability to balance. And believe me, you can retrain it in just 1 minute each morning. Right after drinking your water, stand up straight. Lift one foot about 2 to 4 inches, 5 to 10 centimeters, off the ground. Hold for 10 seconds, then switch sides. Repeat 5 times for each leg. You can lightly hold onto a wall or tabletop in the beginning if needed. This exercise not only activates your leg muscles, but also wakes up your body's proprioceptive system, the sense that often goes dormant if you sit too much. After just a few weeks, you will find yourself walking more steadily, both on hard floors and soft carpets. 3. Don't jump out of bed. Awaken your blood vessels and nerves. I know many people have a habit of jumping up as soon as the alarm rings, but in older adults, this can cause a rapid drop in blood pressure, leading to dizziness, lightheadedness, or even a fall. Instead, when you first wake up, lie still for a moment. Rotate your wrists and ankles and gently flex and extend your fingers and toes. Then sit up slowly. Take 3 deep breaths and only stand up when your head feels clear and your vision is sharp. It only takes a minute, but it helps your body transition from lying to standing safely and naturally, avoiding that common wobbly feeling. 4. Get some light. Give your legs a reason to be strong. You might be surprised to learn that one of the most important things for keeping bones strong is sunlight. Just 5 to 10 minutes of exposure to morning light, especially the gentle sun before 9 a.m., helps the body produce enough natural vitamin D, which is essential for absorbing calcium and maintaining bone density. I advise you open a window, sit near the porch, or take a walk around the garden if you can. You don't need to sunbathe for long. Just light, fresh air, and a little movement are enough to flip the switch for your entire body. 5. Don't stay hungry for too long. Feed your muscles at the right time. A mistake I see in many older adults is eating breakfast too late or skipping it entirely. The longer you wait, the more your body eats its own muscle for energy. and your legs with the largest muscle mass become the first reserve to be tapped. Even one boiled egg, half a steamed sweet potato, or a spoonful of oatmeal can shift your body from a state of breakdown to one of rebuilding. So, even if you don't feel hungry, have something light within the first 60 minutes of waking up. This sends a clear signal to your body. It's time to rebuild, not continue to break down. Remember one thing. These habits may be so small that you don't notice an impact on the first day. But if you maintain them consistently, in just a few weeks, the feeling of confidence, balance, and flexibility in your legs will return. And there is nothing more precious than being able to walk down the steps yourself, take a morning stroll, or simply stand steady while hugging your grandchild without needing anyone to hold you. Caring for your legs doesn't end after breakfast. In fact, most of the silent damage to the legs doesn't happen in the morning. It happens throughout the day, when you stand for too long, sit too much, wear improper shoes, or simply don't pay attention to them. Therefore, I want you to think of leg care as a 3-layered system of protection extending from morning to night. And the good news is you can do it all at home without expense or complexity. All it takes is mindfulness. 1. Skin and foot sensation care, the first line of defense. Every day, I remind my patients, never forget to look down at your feet. It sounds simple, but that act has helped detect many risks early on, from small scrapes and skin discolorations to signs of nerve inflammation in people with diabetes. Take 2 to 3 minutes each day to inspect your feet. You can use a mirror if it's hard to bend down. Look for any cuts, blisters, calluses, ingrown toenails, or unusual skin discoloration. These can be early signs of larger problems if not addressed. Afterwards, wash your feet with warm water and mild soap and dry them thoroughly, especially between the toes. Excess moisture between the toes is an ideal breeding ground for bacteria and fungi, leading to unwanted infections. You can also apply a light moisturizing cream if your skin is dry or prone to cracking. This is a simple but effective barrier that helps prevent infections and calluses. 2. Gentle resistance training. Activate and maintain leg muscle strength. You don't need to lift heavy weights to have strong leg muscles. In fact, simple at-home exercises, if done consistently, will yield noticeable results. I often recommend 2 basic exercises. Chair squats. Sit down and stand up from an armless chair, keeping your back straight and using the power from your thighs and hips. Calf raises. Stand straight, then rise up onto your toes and slowly lower back down. You can hold onto a chair for support when you're starting out. Just do these 2 to 3 times a week for 10 to 15 minutes each session. According to many studies, this habit can reduce the risk of falls in older adults by up to 36%. The most important thing is consistency and listening to your body. 3. Walking with purpose. A simple but underrated habit. If you can walk independently, walking is the greatest gift you can give your legs. I'm not talking about counting steps with a smartwatch. I'm talking about walking with a specific, intentional purpose every day. Even walking to the mailbox, around the garden, or once around the block is good enough, as long as you actively make it a habit. Research shows that older adults who walk about 8,000 steps a day have a 51% lower risk of death from all causes compared to those who walk less than 4,000 steps. If you can, set a personal goal. Start with 3,000 steps a day and gradually increase to 6,000 to 8,000. You don't need a counter, you just need to walk. 4. Adequate sleep, the time your legs repair themselves. Not many people think about sleep when talking about leg health, but that is the time when muscles recover, growth hormone works, and damaged tissue is repaired. Shallow sleep, interrupted sleep, or chronic sleep deprivation can reduce reaction speed and weaken leg muscles, making you walk slower and more likely to trip even if you've been active during the day. Therefore, prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. Avoid electronic devices close to bedtime, keep your room cool and quiet, and create a regular sleep schedule. 5. Social connection, a source of motivation for both mind and legs. Finally, and no less important, is to keep yourself from becoming isolated from your community. When people feel lonely, their motivation to be active decreases. I have seen many patients sit more and walk less, simply because they no longer had a reason to leave the house. But just joining a gentle exercise class, or morning walking group, or having regular phone calls with friends is enough to make a difference, not just for your spirit, but for your legs too. Think of this leg care system like watering a plant every day. It's not about pouring a flood of water once and then forgetting about it. It's about adding a few drops consistently and gently so the roots can grow deep and the stem can stand strong. It's the same with your legs. Stability comes from small, persistent, and conscious action. After everything I've shared, you might be asking yourself, can I really start? At this age? Is it too late? My answer is always, you don't have to do it all. You just have to start. Start with an egg in the morning, with 10 seconds of balancing, with sitting by the window and letting the gentle sunlight warm your legs. It doesn't have to be perfect, just consistent. Because every steady step you take today is a commitment to your body that says, I still want to live well, independently, and freely. Remember, your legs are not just tools for movement. They are your companions on your life's journey. They have carried you through so many busy days, through long lines, through afternoons picking up your grandchildren, through evenings spent with loved ones. Now it's your turn to respond with gentle, consistent care, so that the years ahead are not filled with slow steps of apprehension, but with proactive, confident, and safe strides. The information in this video is for reference and educational purposes only. Before adopting any changes to your diet, exercise, or lifestyle, especially if you are on medication or have an underlying health condition, please consult your primary care physician. If you found this content helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Please share this video with your loved ones and friends, those who also wish to keep their legs strong and steady to continue living each day to the fullest. I'm Dr. Christopher Wilson. Thank you for joining me and the Healthy Steps Seniors channel. We will always be here, walking with you, one step at a time.